Very good evening to one and all present here. My name is Diya Dasgupta, and I've secured an All India rank of 207 in the UPSC CSE 2023 examination. I hope that I am audible to one and all present here. At the very onset, I'd like to give a brief introduction about myself, other than my name and my rank. So I graduated from National Law University, Odisha, and I completed my BA LLB degree honors from NLU Odisha. For that, I had to write CLAT, and I was very keen on one fact and one aspect and that was very clear for me in my 11th and 12th grade itself, that I really wanted to become a lawyer before anything else. Hence, I wrote CLAT and I got through CLAT and I was allotted NLU Odisha as my college. Thereafter, during the 5 years of my law school, there wasn't at least in the first 3 years of my law school, there wasn't any imminent motivation or imminent urge to pursue the civil services, but something changed along the lines, and I'll tell you what. क्या हुआ था कि I think that was the 4th year of my law school, the end of my 4th year. So law school, when you do it right after your high school, you do it for 5 years. You have 10 semesters in law school. So ये शायद से 8th semester की बात है. हमारे कॉलेज में पानी खत्म हो गया था, कॉलेज नहीं, गर्ल्स हॉस्टल में पानी खत्म हो गया था फॉर देयर सम वाटर क्राइसिस सिचुएशन व्हिच इज गोइंग ऑन, एंड वी girls had to go all the way from the girls hostel to the boys hostel and fetch water from there, and there was no lift in the girls hostel, and my room was in the 4th floor, and so I had to take the water, climb up all the flights of stairs till the 4th floor and store the water in my room. तो उस टाइम पे मैंने ना क्या किया, उड़ीसा में वाटर क्राइसिस के बारे में थोड़ा पढ़ने का कोशिश किया, एंड आई जस्ट स्टार्टेड गूगलिंग इट, एंड आई फाउंड आउट एट द देन DM of the Mayurbhanj district at that point in time, through his ingenuity and his innovative thinking, had facilitated the supply of water in a village which did not even have electricity. Now that was a remarkable feat. Imagine the amount of creativity that goes into it. आपने ऐसा feat बनाया through which एक village जहाँ पे electricity नहीं है, वहाँ पानी का supply आपने facilitate कर दिया just by following normal laws of physics, and that gave me the motivation to imagine the immense potential that this job can have. That was almost the end of my 4th year of law school, and by the time I was in my 10th semester, I knew that I really wanted to pursue the civil services, because of which मेरे को एक प्री प्लेसमेंट ऑफर बोलते हैं कॉलेज में, PPO भी मिला था from one of the tier 1 law firms, and I had to turn it down because by the time I got the offer, in my mind I was mentally prepared that I want to pursue the civil services. This was in late 2018. 2019 I started my preparation, and 2019 was my first attempt. 2019 I could not clear prelims by a margin of 5-6 marks. I knew that I had it in me, so I started preparing again. And then I had very poignantly chosen, it's a very common question I get. I'm a lawyer by training, but my optional was political science and international relations. So बहुत clear cut decision था वो भी मेरे लिए, because I had studied BLLB, so I had already studied a lot of political science topics in law school itself. I was also very interested in international relations because school college में मैंने बहुत सारा MUN competitions कर रखा था. So overall it was a clear-cut choice for me that I wanted to study and at least take up political science, international relations, PSIR as my optional. And then in 2020, which was the COVID year, that was my second attempt, and I cleared prelims, I cleared mains, and I went up till the interview stage. And unfortunately, that was my second attempt. I went up till the interview stage. फिर I could not find my name in the final list, and उस time prelims were just 5 days away. That was one of the biggest, a wrong decision that I had made, because I had taken that year's 2021 prelims, and I ideally should not have taken up that prelims, primarily because if you feel that prelims is a challenging area for yourself, then without adequate preparation, जैसे मेरे को लगता है, आज तक मेरे को ये लगता है, out of the 3 stages of the exam, prelims is the trickiest and the most challenging stage of the exam. So I should not have ideally taken prelims there, and that was the only year jahan pe in between, when I was working hard for prelims, but वो नहीं हो पाया था because of just 3 days. Then 2022, I had cleared the general cutoff in the GS prelims by about 12 marks. My score was somewhere around 100 that year. The cutoff was 88, but I missed out because of CSAT. By just 2 marks, so I had gotten 64 instead of getting 66. So उस year 2022 में prelims रुक गया, and then finally in 2023, and that was another year because there was a pressure from family. My family does not come from a civil services background, and then they all parents look out for our interests, right? So they were also very keen and telling me that okay, now you should transition back to law. But then I had faith in myself. My parents also had faith in what I believed, and hence I took another attempt. Alongside that, 2023 attempt was a very crucial year in my life because I completed my LLM, that is Masters in Law from Jindal Global Law School. And alongside that, I was also working because I'll talk about the importance of Plan B. Especially after you've given 2 to 3 attempts, Plan B becomes extremely important in order to have sanity, in order to be, calm and शांति रख के आप एग्जाम कर पाओ, आप पढ़ाई कर पाओ, उसके लिए आई थिंक प्लान बी इज इम्पोर्टेंट एंड आई विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट प्लान बी. सो ओवरऑल दिस वाज 2023 was a very hectic year because as I said मैं masters कर रही थी. Alongside that I was working in order to support myself financially. I was working at the Center for Child in Law, which is a research center housed in National Law School, Bangalore, and alongside that I was also writing my exam. So overall this was my last year, and then by God's grace and hard work and blessings of parents and others, all other well wishers have secured All India Rank 207. So, this was briefly about my UPSC journey that I wanted to talk to you about. So, overall, this was my fourth proper attempt that I had done, and if you account that one attempt where I just had just 5 days to study, so it was my official fifth attempt. But the fourth attempt that I had studied the way you're supposed to study for this exam and write it, right? So overall, this is what I had to tell about myself and my UPSC journey. I was given a list of questions which I should be perhaps throwing light upon. जो शायद से जनरल पॉपुलेशन के पास यही सारे क्वेरीज रहते हैं, एंड आई विल ट्राई टू एड्रेस दोस क्वेरीज. एंड अलोंगसाइड दैट आई एनकरेज ऑल ऑफ यू, अगर आपको कोई डाउट है किसी भी एरिया में, स्पेशली दैट अभी 5-6 दिन में प्रीलिम्स हैं, प्लीज फील फ्री टू ड्रॉप इन क्वेश्चंस हियर सो दैट आई कैन टेक अप दोस क्वेश्चंस एंड क्लैरिफाई दोस डाउट्स फॉर यू. Right. So before we go ahead, there are a few questions which have already come in the comment section. The first question is, आपको motivation कहाँ से मिला था, ma'am? So as I told you, my motivation was not any one specific person, but it was a pure incident related motivation. And मेरे कुछ दोस्त college में भी prepare कर रहे थे exam के लिए. So I think peer group, having a very good peer group helps a lot, to succeed in life. And मेरे को लगता है कि काफी हद तक मेरे दोस्तों ने, मेरे पीयर ग्रुप ने मेरे लाइफ के मेजर इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजंस को इन्फ्लुएंस कर रखा है positively, that is. So I think overall that is one area. So no one fixed source of motivation, but as I told you, I narrated an incident that had happened at law school, and that was one of the fueling factors for me to look up what civil services is and what is the potential that it harbingers, and what's the potential that it can have for an individual, for the society at large. PYQ कैसे एनालाइज करना चाहिए, मैम? PYQ एनालिसिस, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट प्रीलिम्स PYQ एनालिसिस. सो मैंने क्या किया था, लास्ट 13 years के क्वेश्चन पेपर्स उठा लिए थे, एंड अगेंस्ट एवरी क्वेश्चन आई रेड एवरी क्वेश्चन, एंड अगेंस्ट एवरी क्वेश्चन आई हैड लेजिटली रिटन डाउन द सब्जेक्ट एरिया एंड द थीम दैट दैट क्वेश्चन केम फ्रॉम. उसके बाद मैंने लिटरली काउंटिंग किया था कि हर एक सब्जेक्ट एरिया से कितने क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं. फ्रॉम दैट इट वाज अ वेरी क्लियर एनालिसिस दैट economy, environment and polity have the maximum number of questions that are coming for prelims. Then for every subject area, which were the sub themes from which questions were coming. For instance, in polity बहुत सारे questions parliament chapter से आते हैं, fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy and preamble से questions आते हैं, right? So मैंने वो लिख के रखा था. So for every subject I knew which were the most important areas that I was supposed to focus on, and based on the questions, जो content static book में वो तो है, एंड अदर देन दैट उन्होंने कैसे क्वेश्चन फ्रेम किया था, तो मैंने वो फिगर आउट कर लिया था कि व्हाट शुड बी द फॉरवर्ड रिसर्च कि इसके बाद और क्या पूछ सकते हैं. Just in certain of my talks, I've given this example. I feel that groundwater is an important sub theme under the broad theme of environment, under the broad subject area of environment. I think groundwater is a theme जहाँ से हर साल at least legitly 2020 2019 onwards, you'll see there's at least one question or one statement based question on groundwater. So मेरा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी यहाँ पे क्या बन गया कि चलो ग्राउंड वाटर इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट सब थीम, तो मेरे को क्या करना है ग्राउंड वाटर के बेसिस पे और क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस है, व्हाट आर द अथॉरिटीज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर रेगुलेटिंग ग्राउंड वाटर, what is the permissible level of extraction of groundwater that is should be allowed. India is the highest extractor of groundwater. ये क्यों होता है reason? What are the ways in which groundwater extraction mitigation can be carried out? What are the water stressed areas in the country? What are some of the water stressed areas around the world? ऐसे जो भी मेरे दिमाग से मैं समझ पा रही थी that I could speculate कि चलो ग्राउंड वाटर पीए क्वेश्चंस हो सकता है, and started researching on those questions and I jotted those notes down. So for every theme I personally made bullet points, and I made notes out of it. So this was prelims thematic analysis, and then same thing you do for mains thematic analysis. Take up your geography segment of GS1, for instance. Geography itself would have 4 to 5 divisions: economic geography, human geography, environmental geography, etc. And then you identify that chalo environmental geography mein se maybe there are questions on water being a resource that is being used, and the overexploitation of water resource is one question in some way or the other. It is coming every year. Maybe ocean resources ke bare mein pooch lete hain, maybe groundwater, maybe ice caps. Some way or the other, water is an intrinsic, or ocean resource, or water resource is an important part from which questions are being asked, right? So this is how you need to figure out what is the thematics of both prelims and mains, and you have to make your notes accordingly, right? As I told you, this was my 5th attempt officially, and 4th where I could study properly. CSAT strategy. CSAT is, I understand prelims is just 6 days away. I think CSAT is one of the game changers nowadays, right? So CSAT में मेरा clear cut strategy ये था that I knew that I was good at reading comprehension, and if not excellent at maths, I was decent at quants. But that was before 2023 का paper came up, right? At that point in time, I realized how much my game in the specific quants area has to be improved, है ना? So with respect to reading comprehension, I mainly relied upon the UPSC PYQs itself, and I tried to time my reading comprehension passages. So मेरा target ये रहता था, see, hypothetically maybe in 10 minutes I should do 6 reading comprehension questions very accurately, so that maybe only one of them is wrong. So accuracy within a compressed time frame in reading comprehensions, that was my strategy. With respect to quants, I watched some YouTube lectures of important chapters like number system, probability, permutation, combination, because these are the most recurring number of questions are being asked from these areas, right? The next thing that I did, YouTube. I made extensive use of YouTube. YouTube में ना playlists बने हैं probability के questions पे, for instance, or any of these important questions which is of bank, PO or SSC level. So you just go and Google on YouTube. I mean, not Google on YouTube. YouTube कर लेना search bar में that playlist on probability questions, bank, PO, SSC. ऐसे करके if you use these keywords, you will get playlists prepared. So you play those questions, pause when a question is popped up in front of your screen, solve it, and then you see the solution, see if it can be done in a faster way, and then you move ahead, right? So overall, this was my strategy for quants. I targeted in the 23 attempt that I wanted to attempt at least somewhere around 45 to 50 questions. Unfortunately, I could only attempt 20 questions overall. So थोड़ा सा तो डर लग ही गया था. So I had scored around 80 in CSAT, but I think now all of you guys would have practiced CSAT more extensively. Here I would just like to say one thing: CSAT ऐसा paper है, as like the GS paper, every question is equal marks. So if reading comprehension is a strength, first solve all the reading comprehension questions, then pick and choose the quant questions, right? Don't get stuck. For me, the limit was 120 seconds. If I'm stuck at any question for more than 120 seconds, I'll skip that question and I'll move ahead, because I need to pick out the easy questions in CSAT and solve them so that I can have more number of questions solved in my overall kitty, right? So this was overall my CSAT strategy, and I urge you guys to have a solid game plan with respect to CSAT before you go, and just don't go with the flow. For instance, अगर passages easy हैं तो you solve the passages, but don't be stringent on the fact कि passages ही पहले करना है, because हो सकता है कि इस बार passages difficult आ जाए. So if you seeing the passages are quite difficult, then you have to have the presence of mind to quickly, switch on to and get to solving the quants and the reasoning parts of the paper. So be balanced in your approach, but yeah, so you should go in with, okay, this is my game plan A. That is, my game plan was first RCs and then quants. But in that exam, if I would have found that RCs were difficult, then I would have quickly switched to game plan B, which is pick and choose the easy quants questions and then go on to solving the reading comprehension questions subsequently. So have your strategy fixed up like this. Okay, how to start essay writing practice. Very good question. I think essay ethics optional determines where you stand in the rank list. That's how it worked for me. I had an overall jump of about 70 marks from my last means to this means, right? So last year, in the 2020, in that attempt, my main score was around 750 or 743. This year, it was 810. So the way you can boost up your main score is focusing on essay ethics and your optional paper immensely, because competitively in the general studies arena, everyone gets the same average में same marks. So if you're getting the same marks is good. How high you can find your name in the rank list depends upon your dexterity in essay ethics and optional, right? So about, let's say, essay कैसे start करना है. हर एक Sunday pick out an essay जिसका discussion आपको YouTube में मिल जाएगा. So there are a lot of institutions which have done, that is how I picked it up, right? There are a lot of institutions which have done PYQ analysis of essay topics. So pick up any one of those essay topics जिसका analysis is done on YouTube and write that essay in 1 hour 30 minutes. After you're done with your essay, go back to YouTube and watch the essay discussion of that YouTube channel. So what happens as a result of it is you're doing a very thorough self-analysis of what you're doing, and self-analysis is the best analysis, I feel. है ना? So this is how you do, and you start off your essay practice. How to handle science and tech and environment related questions. I'm assuming that you're not writing this particular. If you're writing the upcoming attempt, I know that you would have solved enough number of PYQs and enough number of mocks in order to get the hang ki SNT and environment questions kaise handle karna hai, right? So in case you're writing the next attempt for SNT, I would urge all of you to read up that Indian Express explained segment on science and tech related innovations. With respect to environment, I think more number of questions are coming from that, from the static, rather than the static part, more number of questions are coming from current affairs perspective, right? So in the current affairs perspective, I would urge you all to आइडेंटिफाई थीमेटिक वे में कि कौन से इंटरनेशनल एंड नेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस रिलेटेड टू एनवायरनमेंट पे क्वेश्चन ज्यादा आ रहे हैं. फॉर इंस्टेंस यूएनएपी इज अ कॉमन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जहां से काफी क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. डब्ल्यूएमओ इज अनदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो व्हाट इज माय ड्यूटी गोइंग टू बी? माय ड्यूटी इज गोइंग टू बी कि आई विल गो online and I'll go to the official website of UNEP and WMO or any other organization for that matter, and I'll click on the what's new tab. In that what's new tab, if you click on it, what happens as a result of it is very simple. You will see the recent things which that organization is doing, and often it has happened that maybe information from those areas would be picked up, right? Because those will be current affairs questions, right? So what you do is this is one way in which you can prepare yourself in a very holistic way. Go to the original website and read from the original website. Yeah. Please share your timetable. Okay. So there were two timetables in my life. One was when I was preparing full time, which was the first attempt. I started working since 2020, late 2019. After my first failure at prelims, I had started working as a consultant, legal consultant with the Center for Child in Law. And so when I was preparing full time, I was an early riser. I used to wake up and I used to start studying by say 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then my study hours used to go until 10 o'clock in the night, after which I used to unwind for a while and go off to sleep. In between, there were 4 hours in the daytime that I used to give for my optional. After that, I used to take a little break and give about 2 to 3 hours for GS prelims, and then give 2 to 3 hours for the mains aspect of GS, the general studies 1, 2, 3, 4 papers for mains, right? So this is how roughly my entire day used to be divided. And when I had my office work, okay, for instance, last year was when I was working full time and I was also preparing for the exam, and I was writing the exam actually when I was working. So the way I had divided my time was तब मैं ना थोड़ा जल्दी उठ जाती थी, like about 4:30 or something, and I had a 9 to 5 job. So I used to wake up maybe at around by 4:30 I used to be at my study table. Till 8:30 I used to study as much as possible. My office was quite close to my accommodation, so it used to take like 5 minutes to get to office, right? So once I got to office, I used to take कुछ जो easy subjects होते हैं ना, I used to take that to my office. For instance, newspaper, essay, ethics was quite easy for me, so I used to take those to office. And when I used to read those was, for instance, lunchtime. सारे मेरे colleagues cafeteria जाते थे lunch खाने, but I used to eat lunch at my desk and I used to study simultaneously. So you have to figure out कि कैसे कैसे पढ़ाई हो सकती है. And I had a very good team also, so they also supported me. Then I used to be back by 6 o'clock till 6:45 or 6:30. I used to take a nap. Then 6:45 7 तक I used to start studying again. So 7 to 7:30, 7 to 10:30, 11 तक I used to pull one other shift, and then again at 4:30 to 8:30. So this was my timetable.